The TFL Off-Road Ineos Grenadier series is brought to you by Magna, makers of high-quality technology and parts for the next generation of cars and trucks, including the Grenadier.
Hey Kase, is the Ineos Grenadier the best off-roader you can buy brand new today?
Well, it's solid axle, it's triple locked, it's got a ton of skid plates, so it's definitely a contender.
As you guys know, in the first episode, we bought a brand new Ineos Grenadier and paid $80,000 for it. And since we are in the mountains of Colorado in this episode, we're going to take it off-road.
Tires are a huge part of going off-road, and these tires are 3-peak snow rated. They're BFG KO2s. It's a little over a 32-inch tire, and we have them on these steel wheels right here.
As you can see, we got these beefy rock rails, and best of all, you can order them from the factory when you order the truck, and of course, they're integrated into the body of the truck, making them nice and strong.
The Grenadier also has skid plates and tow hooks up here in the front, and you've got the same thing around the rear.
Hey Kase, if you're a Jeep fan, what makes a Wrangler special?
It's a solid front axle.
Exactly, and guess what?
This has got it too.
Exactly, and that helps with articulation, so the wheels are always attached to the ground and don't end up flying in the air like a Toyota. Okay, I'm sorry for the Toyota fans, but you have to admit, people love solid axles. Hey Kase, this is so old school.
Yeah, you actually have a key to insert and turn. It's been a long time since we have had a brand new vehicle to do that in.
It's quite satisfying, actually.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
You know what my favorite feature is? It's got a horn that says toot.
Yeah, there's two different horns.
And then there's... So the toot is like if the person in front of you is on their phone.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be too obnoxious about it.
Yeah, or somebody on a bicycle.
Well, let's put it in off-road mode. So the way you activate off-road mode is you hit this button, and then you hit it again. And then I believe...
Oh, looks like some of your
so
lights are off, so we're in off-road mode.
We're in off-road mode, and that does a couple of really smart things. It deactivates all the sensors.
Yep.
It deactivates the beeper and buzzer on the seat belts, changes the programming for how this vehicle drives, and lets you, you know, be more comfortable off-roading it.
I can't tell you how many times we've nosed up to a rock in a truck and it's beeping at you constantly because the parking sensors are looking at this rock that you're pulling up to.
Yeah, now one of the things that's unusual about this vehicle is it's got very, I would say, heavy steering.
Yeah, and the steering is fairly vague because it is, like we said, a solid front axle vehicle, so it's pretty old school steering.
The only thing we don't have that like a Jeep Wrangler would have, oh look at that, I've got a little bit of wheel spin, would be a disconnectable sway bar.
Yeah, which would be nice to have, and we'll see how this articulates here today, but I think we've got the most important things, which is lockers.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a G-Wagon, right? Front, rear, and center, which we haven't locked yet, but we will eventually.
The Ineos Grenadier uses a 3-liter BMW inline-6 engine tuned and calibrated by Magna. It has a ZF 8-speed transmission, and the transfer case, well, that's also tuned and calibrated by Magna. The Grenadier uses a full-time 4-wheel drive system with a transfer case by Tremec that's calibrated and engineered by Magna. Now, it's got a really unique manual lever to get in the low range, and it even has a center locking differential. And Magna has worked tirelessly to make sure that transfer case pairs beautifully with the ZF 8-speed transmission and the BMW engine.
Now, in terms of competition case, I'm thinking there's a lot of vehicles now that are coming that will directly or indirectly compete against us. So Land Cruiser from Toyota.
Yep.
The new Lexus GX.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as far as I know, none of those will have a front locker.
No, and obviously also not going to be solid front axle. So this is a fairly unique offering in that sense. The other interesting thing about it is this is a lot more utilitarian than most of its competition.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell it's designed more like a Wrangler than like a Lexus.
Yeah.
So G-Wagon might be another competitor, of course, much more expensive. If we're looking at the same price range, Rivian R1S, if you want to go electric.
Yeah, especially if you're looking for an interesting lifestyle vehicle, something that's a little different from the rest of the 4x4s that you can buy. This and a Rivian, I could 100% see these two appealing to the same buyer.
Now at the dealership, they told us that a lot of people are trading in Broncos on Ineoses.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Because the Bronco's obviously proven to be a very capable off-roader.
Yeah, and then of course the Wrangler would be a direct competitor if it wasn't, cheaper, which obviously it is, because we're looking at we bought this one with, a lot of the extra accessories missing, like the ladder. There's just a lot more stuff.
Heated seats even.
Yeah, we don't have that. I'm a big fan of everything you need, nothing you don't. And this certainly is everything you need, nothing you don't. And speaking of which, guys, if you want to see the entire series, just click on the link below to our Patreon page. And this is a 4-part series, and we're going to have it there, all 4 parts for you to watch. So just become a supporter, and you can see all 4 episodes in one sitting. I know we got some rocks here. It doesn't care.
No, and so far clearance hasn't been an issue. Doesn't feel like articulation's really an issue. We maybe picked up a tire once back there, but this right now is the easy part.
This feels really good, actually, off-road. I'm really enjoying this. Sometimes you get behind the wheel of a vehicle that's kind of sort of off-roady, and you're like, this thing doesn't like to dance. This thing likes to dance.
No, it feels like this is exactly where this is meant to be. And I personally love the feeling of solid axles over uneven terrain. I know it's not the most comfortable. If you were to compare this to some off-roaders like Tommy's LR3 that's got air suspension, it's not going to be that plush, but it feels very purposeful. You can also track in all the mud you want, because underneath these rubber floor mats is more vinyl, so this floor is going to be easy to clean.
And best of all, Kase, there are 4 plugs for each of the footwells where you can actually
drain out some water.
Yeah. Also, from the factory, you can get an optional snorkel, which gives you, get this, Kase, 30 inches of water fording depth.
Yeah, and you also have a mode for that.
There is a mode for that, and let me show you where they put the fuses.
That's pretty sweet. That's way out of the way of the water.
Yeah, Ineos says basically you can ford water up to the depth or the top of the wheel, and I guess if your butt gets wet,
yeah,
you're in trouble because your fuses are going to get wet.
Well, you might notice before your butt gets wet if all the electronics shut down. Next to the very out-of-place looking BMW shifter, you have your transfer case lever for high range, low range, and in either, you can shift it over to lock your center. Of course, we also spec'd our Grenadier with the front and rear lockers. You gotta have it. And we've got a couple off-road modes here, your standard off-road mode, and you also have a waiting mode.
All right, Kase, I've never put this thing into low gear or locked the diffs, so let's do it by the book. We've got the owner's manual, so how do we lock our diffs and how do we get it into low gear?
According to the Grenadier Bible, what we got to do is we got to put the transfer case into low and lock it. So slide it over.
Low and locked.
Once that's done, if we press and hold the rear lock first for about a second.
Okay, 1/1000. Yep.
There we go. We've got the flashing light, and it should be able to either engage while we're stopped or if we roll forward slowly at a speed below 9 miles per hour, it says.
It's blinking orange right now.
Yeah.
So I don't think that means it's engaged.
So maybe if we
roll forward,
crawl forward slowly.
There we go.
Okay. All right. And now that we've got the rear lock.
Center diff lock. Diff lock disengaging.
Lock disengaging?
Yeah.
Why would the center?
Our center diff lock just disengaged.
I wonder if we keep creeping forward a little bit.
Oh, there it goes.
There we go.
No, it's back. Okay. So should we lock the front too?
Yeah, you might as well.
Same procedure?
Yep, it should be. Press and hold for a second.
Okay. Sorry. Nope, it didn't like that. It's blinking. There it goes.
It's a little tricky.
It says check lock conditions up on the center.
Check lock conditions.
1/1000, it's blinking now. Okay, now we'll let it go. But I got a little thing here, blinking a little warning light.
What would happen if we keep crawling forward a little bit? Is that going to change any conditions? It feels like the rear is locked.
The rear is locked.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I can feel it crabbing.
Interesting. So this button on the screen in front of you there, it seems like it's convinced that the rear is locked, which it is. We can feel by driving. But this switch here is still flashing, so I'm not sure that the whole vehicle is in agreement that the rear is locked, which might be the reason that it's not wanting to let us lock the front yet. So what if we hit the rear again? Because I feel like we have to have that switch be solid before it's going to allow us to try and lock the front.
Okay. We'll try unlocking that. Oh, it's blinking. Like it's trying to unlock. I gotta tell you, I'm not impressed, Kase.
No, this is more difficult than getting a Toyota into low range.
It's not just more difficult, it's confounding and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's the problem. So this one's blinking, that one's blinking. If I drive forward, it just says it's...
Okay, so now this switch is
it's solid.
locked solid.
Okay.
So
try the front now. Okay. Now
okay.
Now the front's blinking. Okay. Now I'm gonna drive forward, and hopefully that'll lock as well. That locked.
There we go. Wow. So how long did that take us? 5 minutes?
I don't know. All right. To be fair, it is our first time.
Yeah.
But still,
I think
way too cumbersome.
Some combination of us figuring this out, but also the vehicle, it's not making it easy.
All right. Let's look at some of the off-road pages, which are pretty cool. Please wait. There we go.
Takes a second.
So we've got vehicle pitch and roll, which is nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can go to the next one. That gives you your
tire pressures, temps. That's nice to have too.
That's nice. And tire spelled T-Y-R-E.
Yeah, very British.
You know it's British. What else do we have? Oh, we have altitude.
Yeah, that's interesting. We can see a little bit how our elevation has changed, and then we've got our battery state.
Yeah, and then since we have Apple CarPlay, we also have Onyx off-road. And Kase, we get a lot of emails from people saying, hey, I'm off-roading for the first time. I'm coming to Colorado. What trail should I go on? And
yeah.
My answer always is, get yourself some Onyx off-road. Not only is this, using CarPlay, so it's always displayed on the screen, but it saves to your phone. So even if you don't have phone service, like we don't have right now, we still know exactly where we're at. So really great tool. And especially if you're going to be doing any off-roading, it's really nice to know where you're at.
It gives you a ton of information. You're not going to get lost. You're going to know how difficult the trail you're on is. You get to see pictures of it, difficulty ratings, everything.
All right, well, let's zip up to the Razor Rocks, and if they're not too icy, let's give them a shot.
I'd like to.
All right, these are the Razor Rocks. They're a really good test of grip and articulation. And the biggest danger here is that you would go sliding into a tree, which we've seen people do, and really damage your car. Except the tree fell over, except Kase, it didn't fall over.
Yeah, it looks like
somebody cut it.
Somebody cut it, which is kind of lame.
Yeah, I thought maybe a storm knocked it over, but it looks like somebody decided that it was too much of an obstacle and got rid of the most dangerous part. It wasn't us.
Not great. Right now, the Razor Rocks are in interesting condition because we've got this buildup of ice here, which means that there's not quite as much of a step up to get over these Razor Rocks. Typically, this is about at the same height as my shoulder, but this ice is going to make it more difficult as far as traction is concerned. So let's see how it does.
All right, Kase, I have to say I'm very nervous. We just spent $80,000 on this vehicle, and if we get this wrong, we're gonna spend a lot more money fixing it.
Yeah, we bought it hours ago. I haven't even changed clothes since we bought this thing, so if we wreck it now, that's gonna be a little bummer.
But that's why when you spend your own money, it hurts a lot more and it makes it much more real, right? A lot of the press vehicles, you're like, sorry, but this is ours. And that's why we buy them, because, our skin's in the game.
Well, I'll tell you what, if it looks like there's an imminent disaster unfolding, I will let you know, but otherwise, we'll just see what it does.
All right, spot me. I have high hopes. Here we go.
Approach angle is plenty good. The line is looking good so far.
I'm just gonna gingerly, try to crawl up these rocks. Come on, Ineos. I got faith in you. Triple locked. It's doing it.
Still looking good. It is.
It's doing it. It's doing it. It did it. Oh yeah. All right. Woo. Okay.
That was not bad. It was a little close as far as ground clearance is concerned, but it did it.
All right. That was good.
Did you touch?
I think I touched, but you know what? It's brand new, so I'm always just a little bit more hesitant with something that's, it's our brand new long-term review vehicle. So we don't want a long-term review to be 2 days.
For most of that, when you were cresting over the Razor rocks, you were about, it looked like this far off of the rocks underneath, but you had just enough clearance.
Look, I think we can go at least another inch on these tires if we wanted to.
Yeah, you could size up a bit.
And with solid axles, give it a year or less, and there's going to be lift kits for these, right?
Oh, definitely.
It also comes with a BMW 3-liter turbo, basically the same one that's in the Supra.
Yeah.
Straight 6, ZF 3-liter ZF 8-speed transmission. Kind of odd to put it in an off-roader, but why not?
Yeah, and they really aren't trying to hide it. It says powered by BMW on the top of the motor, and even you don't have to pop the hood because it says powered by BMW on the hood itself.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And cosmetically, of course, you've got this great form factor. It looks like an old Defender. You've got these off-road lights right there. You've got a little plaque that says Grenadier built on purpose, showing you that it's a serious off-roader. You've got these little handles up here if you want to go and check out what's on the roof. And then, of course, finally, you've got this interesting little way to get into the back, which is this little tiny door that lets you have some access to the back for getting things like, I don't know, recovery gear. And then, of course, it opens up completely for a lot of room with very basic, and I think hopefully hard-wearing plastic everywhere. Because, this is something that you would use on the farm or on the ranch to put in dogs or small cattle even.
You know what I love about this? Is that this might be the only brand new vehicle you can buy that has a gutter, and that just shows you how classic the design of this is. It looks fantastic.
So we'll go up there, of course. Since we're triple lock, we have to go up there.
Oh yeah.
I like the seating position too. It's very Land Rover-like, right? You're sitting way up high, kind of looking down onto the world. Land Rover calls that the command driving position. This kind of has it.
And this is fantastic visibility. There's so few vehicles, even off-road specific vehicles, that give you this kind of ability to look out the front and actually see what you're driving over.
Yeah, we have no front-facing camera, and I don't really care because I can actually tell where the front is.
Old school, you can just drive normally and look at what you're about to drive over, which is, it's almost gone from the automotive industry.
This is making easy work of Dare. It's just doesn't care. I think tires are ripping in the snow. The vehicle is just easily and without any drama.
Yeah, the snow's kind of flattened out all the obstacles, and because these are 3-peak snow rated, our traction is fine, so this is about as easy as this has ever felt.
Yeah, this is about as hard as it gets right here. Oh, and we're almost sliding into the trees. Just as you said, this is about as easy as it gets.
Yeah, that's always when it happens, right?
Oh, it is definitely sliding sideways. Let's turn it around. And now it's sliding backwards. By the way, this is a heavy vehicle.
How much does it weigh? You know?
I would say 7,000 pounds.
Ooh.
I'm sliding. What am I sliding into? At least I'm not sliding sideways. Let me try to go over the sawtooth and see if I can keep it, do this. Nope.
It's pretty hard packed. So this is, now we're starting to see some traction issues on the hard packed snow.
I'm sliding.
It's a little icy. That was dramatic.
It was. And that was the sawtooth we just went over.
Yeah, so now we got to go over it. Well, do we want to go over it?
No, we don't want to go over it again.
Okay.
I think we just call it a day and head on down the mountain. What do you say?
I think that's a good idea, because if we're sliding downhill, I don't know.
Throws good snowballs.
Did you get coated?
A little bit.
All right, let me come around and we'll do the close, okay? Is it the best off-roader in the world? Well, it's a little fussy and finicky, but I think it's one of those vehicles that once you kind of learn it, it'll be a little bit easier. Now, it's not as easy as a G-Wagon. I mean, boom, 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 you know, triple lock it.
And even a Jeep Wrangler. Plus, even though this is all solid axle, I do think that the articulation is not the best that we've seen, even maybe compared to the independent front end on a Bronco.
Well, there's only one way to find out, and that is to compare it to something equivalent. So in the next episode, that's exactly what we're going to do. Remember, if you guys want to see the entire series all at once, just join our Patreon page, click on the link below, and you could watch all 4 episodes. As always, this is Roman.
And Kase.
Saying thanks for watching. Yeah, my pants are a little, I may have just a little bit there for a second when it started to roll sideways down the hill.
Concerning.
A little concerning. We'll see you guys next time. Ciao. All right, Kase, a little postscript. Now that we're down, we have to disengage all this.
Yeah,
I'm a little worried.
You would have to imagine this is going to be easier than getting them to engage, right?
How do you do it?
So, I figure,
Yeah.
start with the front, right?
Yeah, okay, it's blinking.
Maybe if we roll forward a little, still blinking.
Yeah, it's not disengaging. Not even blinking on the steering wheel. Neutral?
Park or neutral.
We're in park. Now we're neutral.
There's all of the load taken off the drivetrain.
Oh, now it's blinking. Now it's blinking. Now let me try driving forward.
Okay, well, so that
Hold on, let me think.
that's it
Hold
going
on.
back on.
Okay, I'm in neutral. Now it's
Yeah.
blinking. It's not blinking there though. We're relatively flat.
Just gonna drive around in circles in this dirt lot. What if we try the rear? Now they're both blinking, but only up top. They're not blinking in front of you.
No. Can we check in the owner's manual? Is there a way?
Yeah, let's see if they've got something separate for
How you disengage them?
disengaging. Page 160, we know it by heart now. So this says, when unlocking the front and rear differential locks, the vehicle operates a state check. Vehicle uses wheel speed sensors to determine if the wheels across an axle are rotating at different speeds, proving the differential has unlocked. So I guess until we drive around enough that it sees wheels spinning at different speeds, it won't show you that it's unlocked. So
we'll keep driving.
start a stopwatch. We're driving around, got a stopwatch going,
They're
see how
blinking
long it takes.
if they unhook.
They are blinking.
But they're not blinking there. I don't even know if they may be disengaged. I can't tell. I can't tell if it's crabbing or not because we're driving on snow.
Neither can the car because it's still showing them locked. And I would assume going around turns will help the vehicle determine whether or not they are locked. You want to try unlocking the center?
Or you need to make it better or worse.
I don't know if it'll do anything at all, to be honest.
Yeah, nothing's happening.
Oh, there we go. So you're, they just went off.
All right. So
And I think it helped that we went around a turn. So that was a little over a minute of driving around. And it seems like the vehicle just needs to see that the wheels are spinning different speeds. So I think it helps it recognize that the locks are off if you go around a turn.
I think this may be actually easier if we do neutral. What do you think? Neutral. Come on. There we go.
Now back in the high range.
We're back in high range. Now we're in drive. Center says it's still locked. Police went high range. Oh, that one.
Yep.
Off. Okay.
So now we're back to normal.
So I think it's just a matter of getting to know the vehicle. But I'll tell you, if you didn't know it, it would be it actually is very disconcerting.
Yeah, and it's definitely not the most intuitive process.
No, I got to give it to, Jeep was we owned a lot of Jeeps, right? And there's that big lever, you got to get into it low, and then you hit the buttons, and it kind of does the same thing. It takes a while. You know who kills it? Bronco. Ford just kills it with their electric lockers. Boom, boom, lock, lock.
Yeah, exactly.
This is interesting.
It's not the easiest.
It's not the easiest. Hey, come back when we compare it to something that it does directly compete with.